All right. Happy Monday, VV Nation. Welcome to Midday Market Update. All right. See, we got a couple people in here. We got Daryl already in the house. Hello, VV Nation. If you can hear me, if you can see me, just put a VV in the comment section. There's been a lot of weird things going on. Obviously, one of the stories I have today is going to be AWS, their outage today. So if you do have certain programs that you're using this Monday morning that seem a little bit off, could be some remnants of that. But again, the alert should be hitting in just a moment here. All right, do you see the... All right, you got it on your side? All right, let's look at like the alert just hit. Let's see here. Fish said, thought you were on holiday away this week. Fish, I will be gone Thursday and Friday. I leave Wednesday night, going down to St. Thomas. I will be back the following Wednesday. So I will end this week with afternoon market action. I will start next week with afternoon market action on Wednesday. Now, as far as my knowledge, it's either going to be like a Steve Chappell or Jared Ambrosio filling in for some of the live streams over that course. You know, those guys definitely been my mentors. So definitely check out those streams with those individuals, you know, doing presentations. Joey, have they informed you at all who's doing what?
No, I'm sure we'll talk about it in today's meeting, though.
All right, we'll get that covered. We got a meeting for it later today. So maybe after market action Wednesday, I'll give you a layout who will be doing what while I'm gone. And for those who were able to watch in the community room, give a high five and an applause for Thad on the Power Hour last week in the community room. Did a phenomenal job. I know it's not easy getting in front of, you know, a couple hundred people, you know, talking about stocks and stuff. But, you know, I think he did a great job. So, you know, if you guys were able to watch that, you know, definitely take advantage of Thad's knowledge. I mean, he's been in the financial industry way before since I've been alive. And he's been with VectorVest for a long time as well. And you'll see, you know, all the instructors here have their own little different, you know, approach per se. See the comment section. I'm trying to catch up here. Thad did a great job. Hey, Ryan, can you check out TTD for me? So yes, today's presentation, I'm going to get through the stories. We got a lot of earnings stock. I'm going to try to get through them as much as possible. But today, I'm not going to go off the likes. Wednesday, I'm not going to go off the likes. I'm going to try to get as many stock picks as I can before I head to the tropics. And then I'm out for 5 days. So don't bother me while I'm gone. I'm messing with you guys. I'm messing with you. All right. So real quick, let me take this mouse real quick. VectorVest Composite, right? Before I talk about any stocks, any noise in the market, I want to know what the VectorVest Composite's doing. And what it's doing right now is showing me some optimism. I talked about this little support here zone from around 76, 64. What was the bottom? Around $76 even here. You can see price action today gapped up, but not only do I like the gap up, right at the 20-day, right at the resistance, because trust me, looking at the technicals here, it would be very easy for the market to have pulled back this morning, right? And now we're, halfway through the market day? Well, yeah, just after 12 o'clock. I'm seeing some follow through above that 20-day EMA. So again, healthy breather, right? We're seeing the mining stocks coming back, right? Told you, healthy breather last week. Don't freak out because gold went down one day and rare earths went bonanzas. Because guess what? Rare earths, they ain't done going bonanzas. I think they're going bonanzas today. We'll take a look at them. I got a news story there. But yeah, they're going to get a little bit more volatile as those premiums get a little bit more inflated. Let me actually jump into the news stories before we get to that real quick. But yeah, I am seeing some optimism in the market. I mean, it caught that level of support. So I'm liking what I see as far as being bullish. Yes, there's some macroeconomics and some underlying economics you probably, you know, should just be aware of. Yeah, most certainly. But the trend of the market right now is in the favor of the bulls. All right, so as far as earnings today, not that crazy, right? We got Steel Dynamics, Berkeley Corporation, nothing crazy. No one really cares probably about most of these. Well, except maybe this one, Zion's Bank Corporation, right? Remember they made a little splash last week. I think it was about, $60 million worth of loans that they may not be getting paid back. Well, the stock went down about $1 billion in market cap. So a little overreaction. I think Friday recovered a little bit. But I know a lot of eyes will be on this bank this evening. So, you know, keep your eye on that. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, Jazz, I saw can over $2. And before we get to your stocks, I'm going to take a look at the usual suspects. We've been, the Poet, the Navitas, which, I mean, guys, some of these stocks are doing phenomenal since doing the videos. And hold on one second. Finish cracking that door. We're getting a little warm in here with all the lights. Should we buy that one? Well, let's take a look at the chart. Let's take a look at the chart. Or is it FOMO? Probably a little bit more on the FOMO side, Jazz. But I do like the company overall. But as far as earnings, tomorrow things get a little bit spicier. We got Netflix after the bell, GE Aerospace, Coca-Cola, Philip Morris, RTX, right? That's going to be a big one. Texas Instruments. And here's another one for my defense stockholders, Lockheed Martin, right? So we got a lot of big companies here reporting after the bell on Tuesday. Now, come Wednesday, we got a Mag 7 here. Yeah, it's probably, it's the least of the Mag 7, but it's Tesla. Tesla's reporting after the bell. SAP, IBM, Thermo Fisher, AT&T, Lam Research is an interesting one. This Amphenol, I've been talking about this one, this APH. The stock's been doing pretty well lately. Boston Scientific. So big week in earnings as you're seeing here. Tuesday, Wednesday, probably going to be the bigger of the days. Going to Thursday, still some big companies here. The one on my radar is going to be Intel Corporation. They got a lot of good things they can present in that earnings call, right? A lot of big partnerships, TSM, AMD, NVIDIA, all trying to help lift Intel, right? Again, Intel's been moving, but not because of Intel, right? Another stock we've been talking about a lot, Newmont Corporation, NEM. That's going to be after the bell as well on Thursday. And then by Friday, it starts to slow down again. We got Procter & Gamble. Looks like that's about it. A couple other ones here, Stellar Bancorp. But again, Friday's going to slow down. So you're going to see volatility. And it looks like this, looking at the VectorVest Composite, it looks like the market's trying to, use that volatility in favor of the bulls right now. But Wednesday and Thursday, I see some volatility ticking into the market. See here, Patel says Microsoft and NVIDIA unveil GB300 supercomputer as AI race heats up. Coca-Cola, RTX, and LMT are the ones I'm going to be watching closely. Yes, I am too. I'm definitely going to be doing that. LMT's recent announcement of its new Loyal Wingman drone, the Vectis, is going to make waves. Yes, those Wingman drone technology in general, but the Wingman drone and how was it, the F-35 and the F-47 can now link to these other drones. I think some of that software is Palantir. I know on the Navy side, some of that stuff is Big Bear AI. But it's interesting, right? It's interesting. And the Vectis is separate from the joint drone venture with BAESY. The drone companies have been phenomenal, right? Think about Kratos. So again, if you're holding defense stocks, there's probably going to be some volatility, good or bad, depending on the earnings, right? Depending on how investors perceive some of those earnings, right? And the markets perceive it. Now, this is interesting. I was trying to get to the economic calendar on, what was I using? MarketWatch.com. You can see it's using a CloudFront error here, which I think it might be linked to this AWS. Not too sure. But ultimately, when it comes to economic events, Thursday, we've got initial jobless claims. Friday, CPI inflation data. So I see the volatility more towards the later half of the week. We'll see how this inflation data appears. Kay says, how about GE, MMM, and RTX? Yes, I have them in the watch list too. So a lot of big earnings when it comes to these, all week, really. All types of industries across the board here. So this week, keep on your radar. GE Aerospace, I'm pretty sure I have all three of those in the watch list. I tried to pick the popular ones or, the ones I hear about on the channel when it comes to the earnings call because, putting in certain stocks that no one really cares about from earnings, it's not going to do any good on a Monday, right? So, obviously, most of you heard about the AWS, right? So I thought, let's take a look at Alibaba, right? This is China's cloud darling here. And actually, I'm just going to scroll back down to this. This is all that really matters. AWS, look at the market share, 30%, right? So no wonder everything from Robinhood to Netflix was affected by this, right? It's massive amount, right? But look at Alibaba. They only got 4% of the cloud space. Right behind that is Microsoft's Azure. Then you got Google Cloud and then Alibaba Cloud, right? So if you want some exposure to a Chinese leading cloud company, Alibaba, not a bad stock to have on your radar. You got Oracle here, Salesforce, IBM, and Tencent Cloud. So I do have Alibaba in the watch list. I got Amazon in the watch list, right? I avoid Chinese stocks like the plague. Yeah, Pennywise, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all for that. Can you advise on TJX? Should I keep it long? We get to some stocks here in just a moment, Ology. We definitely do that. Now, this is the big story today, Micron, right? I've been talking about Micron since that nice pivot in the low 100s here. This $100 billion investment in New York City, right? Talked about it last week. You know, they've had some issues with the zoning and planning and stuff, but as of late, everything's going in their favor, right? This investment is planned over the next 20 years with the goal of producing a quarter of all U.S.-made chips by 2030. This is $100 billion, the largest private investment in New York City, one of the largest in nation's history, right? This is massive, massive, massive. Now, this is a little bit more details of the plan. It's here. The complex will be huge. It's 4 fabs. Micron's campus would be the largest private development in state's history, one of the biggest in the nation. Each fab would contain 600,000 square feet of clean room space, 290,000. You can see a lot of this. This thing is massive, $100 billion, right? So I was curious, because that's a big number. I'm almost positive I was correct on this. It's twice as much as the U.S. Chips and Science Act. Remember that? That big CHIPS Act that was trying to get us to be more competitive with China? That was a drop in the bucket, right? So this one company, and I will say the subsidy, it's not all just Micron. The taxpayer is flipping most of this bill. I'd say about half of the bill. And we'll see how it all plays out in the future. But the taxpayer is definitely paying, a big portion of. MU is just ringing today. Was it already priced in? Michael, I would say it's already priced in, but when you look at the VectorVest value, it's significantly higher than where Micron is now. And you see the goal of this facility? 1/4 of all U.S. chips. Twice the size investment of the National U.S. Chips Act, Chips and Science Act, right? Yeah, we're all the taxpayer. We're all the taxpayer right here. It's central. It's a little town. What is it called? Started with a C. Clay, New York. Central, just outside Syracuse, it looks like. Mega fab, massive project, right? And we all know what it's about. It's about getting U.S. chip supply chain onto our soil, right? Because Micron, all their manufacturing is mostly in Asia right now. But now they've got huge incentives to bring that stateside, right? Bring it stateside. Upstate, okay, all right. I put out a feeler position in MU. You've convinced me. Now, Micron, I'm seeing this as more as a long-term play. Yes, there's swing trade opportunities here as a semiconductor, so it does have momentum. Bullish and bearish momentum. A lot of semiconductors have, but overall, with the story that I'm seeing and utilizing the VectorVest 7 software, Micron, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. I'm actually going to be talking to my mom about that, about purchasing some for her portfolio. Like I told you, my cousin who got me into the semiconductors way before they were cool years and years ago. He just told me about Micron. Well, he didn't tell me. I told you on the live stream. I think I even showed you the text. He messaged me a week or two ago, said, "Hey, Micron, keep this on your radar. It's going to be hot." I'm like, dude, it's been on my radar since it pivoted off around $115. But yeah, he's a believer in it. I'm a believer in it. Big, massive project to bring the semiconductor manufacturing stateside, right? The play before was going to be Intel, right? We all were thinking Intel. But not only is Micron, got a better reputation than Intel, but now Micron's at the pivotal part of the next AI revolution, the inference, right? Which requires HBM, high bandwidth memory chips specifically. That's the next stage of the AI revolution. And New York is making sure that stage is manufactured in upstate New York. So, it's an amazing story though, but I like Micron, Broadcom, Intel is really only going up off of news, and it's mostly because of other entities trying to save Intel, right? It's not because Intel is doing anything real good. All right. MU is the top rated VST stock. So no brainer. Tabula, I'm pinning that. We've been talking about it. I like it when I talk about a stock and it makes its top to the VST list. UAMY made its way to the top. Micron's made its way to the top, right? I try to put the hot stocks on your radar, but just everything I'm seeing, the domestic, the decoupling from China, everything, the VectorVest indicators, put all the news and all that crap to the side. If you just look at the VectorVest indicators, it's the number one stock in the software right now. So it's a no-brainer in my opinion. Now just make sure you stay on the right side of the trade. Oh, that being said, we'll take a look at the stock chart in itself. But this is how I wanted to finish up today. Rare earths, right? They're making a comeback this morning. I told you they're going to be volatile. First thing when this live stream started, people were talking about rare earths, the comment section, right? They're going to be volatile. It's very news driven. A lot of these companies are trading at massive premiums, right? A lot of these premiums are being baked in. So do your research. I'm still on IESE and making loads of money. Yes, that was a top VST stock not too long ago. Even when they drop from the top, they're still making people money. I may not, show as much momentum. There should be a section for Trump tweets. Oh dear. No, I don't want to make investment decisions off Trump tweets. That's probably not going to be a good idea. All right. But rare earths, they're coming back. So in today's watch list here, I've got some good ones. I got Micron. And that article put a new rare earth on my list here. PPTA, Perpetua Resources Corp. It's up 6% today, moving right along with the rest of them. UAMY up 4%. Amazon, right? Alibaba, USA Rare Earth. Now, I will say, interestingly, if I highlight the rare earth companies here, right? Look at the value divided by price. Way overvalued. Way overvalued. They're all so overvalued, right? Way overvalued. But look at the RVs. There's only one that's still showing me favorable long-term price appreciation. RV, right? Look at the rating, 1.5. That's not a bad rating. Not a bad rating at all. So again, my longer-term strategies going to be more into UAMY, right? Just compared to these four. Now, I'm not saying long-term opportunities can't be there, but the other stocks, I'm saying more swing trades. Just be careful if you are holding, stocks like MP or PPTA. Some of these other stocks, they've had huge runs. You can see that. Look at the RTs here. And look at this PTA one. That thing's making a big move right now. Micron trading at 209. Look at that. We valued almost $300. I don't think that premium is baked in, especially if they have aspirations to produce a quarter. Again, you saw the article. Even if they don't make the goal, even make half the goal, eighth of the chips in the country. That's a substantial amount of market share, right? So I'm a believer in the company. And look at all the stocks. They are up today in the list. The rare earths, the Micron. We got Amazon is here. Obviously the outage not affecting the stock too much today. Actually up almost 1%. And then you got Alibaba here up almost 4% today. Finding a little momentum. Now, as we take a look at price versus value here, the only valued stock is going to be Micron. It's the only undervalued position here. As far as RVs, my long-term positions, Micron, UAMY, Amazon. Those are my favorable long-term positions. Alibaba and down, RVs are less than 1, right? So that's telling me that long-term price appreciation potential may not be there, right? So I would be less prone to keep these long-term and more prone to keep these top ones long-term. As we take a look at safety, look at where the safety is. Micron, Amazon, UAMY. Same as the RVs, the top RVs, top RSs here, right? So if you're a more conservative investor, more prudent investor, something of that nature, probably stick towards the top of this list. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe a little bit more of a trader, you can probably find some opportunities at the bottom of this list. Now, as far as the growth rate and earnings, majority of these stocks are phenomenal. The only ones at the bottom of the list here, -6 and -9%, be two rare earth companies. USA Rare Earth, Perpetua Resources, right? So keep that in mind with those rare earths. I still like UAMY. Let's take a look at the charts here, see if there's any opportunities. Yeah, it's going to want to try to find a level of support, that 20-day. Filled the gap pretty quick today with his bottom wick. Be careful with it. I don't know if the damage is done quite over. If we take a look at the year chart, yeah, it's going to be taking a breather for a little bit. We'll see. Again, it's very news driven, so things can, change obviously. But right now, I think UAMY is going to get a little closer to that 20-day EMA. Look at RT showing weakness in the trend as well. Was that 0.94? Just crossed back above today at 1.11, but showing weakness. It was a negative Friday. Here's Micron. A little bit of an upper wick. Probably not in too much of a rush to buy it with that upper wick if you haven't already bought it. But otherwise, healthy levels above that 20-day EMA. Value keeps rising. Earnings per share keeps rising. You can see why I like this as a long-term position here. I mean, the stock consolidated for quite some time, but really just the breakout occurring in the last 2 months here. Let's zoom out a little bit more. But yeah, that was a break. This was the break I was talking about before we first started looking at it. It's a beautiful chart. I like it. Undervalued, values rising, growth rates rising. Sales growth rate's the only thing faltering over the last 10 months, but still coming in 46% outpacing earnings growth rate. I like it. I can see why it's one of the, not one of, but the top VST stock right now. Here's Amazon. I would be surprised if it didn't want to try to pivot off this 200-day. But you can see last time it broke that 200-day. Just be careful. Just be careful. And look at the RT relative timing. That's been showing us weakness for a little while. You saw last time RT showing weakness. The stock went from about 240 all the way down to 160. Not saying that's going to happen this time, but just know that RT's giving us warning signs of weakness here. Here's MP. I actually do like this retouch of the 20-day EMA here. AWS down, Amazon not down. Yeah, I thought that was kind of surprising too, ABB. I thought that was kind of surprising myself. And honestly, I actually kind of like this pivot here. I got a bottom wick. If we could finish out with an open candlestick and above, what line does it have here? Around 82.69. We're at 81.26. I'd feel a little bit better about this, buying this dip here. Not there quite yet, but I do see the trade setup potentially taking shape. Growth rate and earnings, again, these rare earths, it was negative. Earnings per share was negative, and now they are roaring. Growth rate's not 22%. Sales growth are at 84%. Earnings per share went from negative. Let's use the date line here. We're what? Negative 12 cents, and now coming in at 56 cents positive here. Took my 200% and very happy with UAMY. I am out. Joe, hey, that's all it's about. Take your money and run. Take your money and run. AXT low dollar semiconductor stock. I have to take a look. Remind me of that one, Roger. You know me, I'm a sucker for a good semiconductor stock. But MP, I like that the little pivot here. Ooh, look at Alibaba showing a lot of momentum today. This could be from some of that AWS cloud news, but overall, I like that break getting back above the 20. That's a nice little healthy pullback here, probably close to this prior swing high, if I had to guess. No, a little shy. But this stock way overvalued. Growth rate and earnings, I'm gonna like Amazon better. I like Amazon better. Yeah, there's some opportunities here, but I do like Amazon's overall better. Here is Perpetua Resources Corp. The stock went from around $10 all the way up to 30. You can see it's well overvalued. Growth rate is negative. Forecasted earnings per share is negative. Sales growth rate 0. I can't. I'd stick to the technicals on this one. US. Oh, whoa. Just short of my trend line here. I've been waiting for this, but it caught that 20 and look, bottom wick, open body. This is what I'm talking about. USAR could show some swing trading opportunities here, and we might be in the midst of one right now with USAR off this pivot. Now, this could be short-lived, but if you want to capture some quick momentum, this might be a stock on your radar. You can see fundamentally, it's not going to be UAMY. You got growth rate negative, earnings per share negative, value falling, right? Not going to be as pretty as a UAMY, but definitely I do like that pivot here. Let's see if we get some follow through maybe Monday. Just because I see an upper wick right now, or see how the end of this, the candlestick looks like towards the end of the day. But interesting trade setup there. All right, let's jump into earnings real quick. I'm going to cover these stocks. Let's do this. Since we're going to earnings, let's just put them in by growth rate of earnings. Top of the list, Amphenol Corp, Vertiv Holdings, Netflix, RTX, Lam Research. USAR was on CNBC show today. Okay, so not only were, that makes sense that it didn't catch that trend line. It caught the 20-day because they were on the news and the pivot on the 20-day. So yeah, I see it. WeMe, I am still holding it. Is it okay? I got WeMe in another list. We're going to take a look at some of those stocks here just a moment as well. But these are the top of the list with higher growth rate forecasted earnings. I'll be less concerned about these, more concerned about these at the bottom of the list, right? Intel's going to be interesting because they got a lot of partnerships and stuff they could talk about to help, swoon investors, that sorts. But let's see where the momentum is today with these positions. Intel. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised people jumping in before that because I could see it. I got a mixed bag, but yeah, I could see it continuing to go higher into earnings. Vertiv Holdings, I know that's been a crowd favorite here, so let's take a look at the charts. There's Intel. I'm actually liking this. We might get a breakout to the upside. Forecasted data is not there. The stock is overvalued again. The first jump was the US takeover, right? Then the NVIDIA partnership, then the AMD partnership, right? But nothing coming out saying Intel is doing the right things. So, is what it is. I like Micron better. But here's Netflix, lower left, upper right. That's actually pretty smooth right there. Nice big-bodied candlestick. Price action getting above the 20. The RT here has been pretty suppressed as of late. RT's at 1.01. Maybe we could get a little bit more enthusiasm in that RT above 1. Might be, again, because I mean, like the stock's been taking a breather here after this big run. If we get a breakout, especially from this prior swing high here, above 1267, we could see a nice little run on this. Netflix, the value is growing. MU is a vastly superior choice. Yeah, Pennywise. That's what my assumption is as well. Why most stocks seem to be overvalued these days? I don't know. Most stocks are. A lot of them are. And if you were to look at the general market, the VectorVest Composite is pretty good to look at. We value the market just around $70. It's trading at 77. It's 10% over our valuation, which our valuation, obviously pretty more on the conservative side of things. Not going off a hype. That sounds about right. Then the market would be trading close to 10%. And you can see that's kind of the case overall, except on the tariff turmoil. Everyone wanted to pay a fair value. But otherwise, we went right back to paying a premium. Right back. All right, so let's get through these. You got Netflix. That's looking good. I like that. Rising forecasted earnings. Actually, I'm going to take off sale. No, I'll leave all this stuff because all this stuff be good for an earnings call. Look at this. Rising earnings. Actually, the forecasted earnings went from negative to positive. A little bit turnaround story. Sales did too. And the earnings per share, a little bit turnaround story here over the last year. I like this. I'm not liking price action, but I like the forecasted data down below. Stock's trading on a premium right now. Here's Lam Research. Did have some value opportunities, but look at the momentum to the upside. The forecasted data is soaring as well. I actually like this stock. Lam Research. I do like this. It's trading on a premium. I'd stick more to the technicals. Treat it more like a momentum trade. But overall, I do like what I see here. Here's SAP Software Business. Ooh, be careful. We could be getting rejection again below that 200-day moving average. Stock is overvalued. Our valuation coming at $180. Growth rate earnings on the downtrend. Sales is rising. Forecasted EPS is rising. It's a little bit of a mixed bag there. We got 19, 15% respectively. But overall, I don't want to get near this position as long as it's right at that 200 day. I'd like to see, at least see some confirmation above the 200 day to get enthusiastic. You can see a nice touch here from above, but right now we're seeing weakness with touches from the bottom. Here's RTX. Look at the value. The stock was greatly overvalued here. Price is rising. Value is rising. Value is now close to 140 bucks. Price action at 160. I like it. Price action looks like it's trying to get back above that 20-day. Had a level support here. Looks like it does want to catch this zone around 158 to about 152 here. So I do like this. Aerospace defense. Pretty optimistic in that one. Here's Lockheed Martin. Value declining. Growth rate went negative. Sales is falling. VectorVest is going to tell me that's some warning signs in the forecasted data. Earnings per share kind of actually lower than it was 12 months ago. Price action rising. What I see here is a nice break through that 200 day, but not much of a retest. This is my resistance I have in here at 509. Right now we're at 504. So either earnings, I'm thinking we either see that rejection come to fruition or we get a nice break just above it. With the buy ratings, it's giving me some optimism for the bulls, but growth rate going into negative territory recently. Sales growth rate now hit at 0. I can't get too optimistic with that. Here's Triple M, 3M. Ooh, look at this. Nice little pivot off the 200 day. Showing some confirmation off that. Now above the 20-day EMA. But look, the value is what's getting me excited. As far as growth rate, turnaround stories, sales growth rate, not much to brag about there. Earnings per share, starting to come back around. But I really like that value ticking up. Right now you are paying a little bit of a premium. I'd stick to the technicals because if we do get some optimism above this 20-day EMA, could run a little bit. Nice little breather on the 20-day, or sorry, 200-day here. But overall, you are paying a premium. So just be careful of that. You see value is creeping up. I mean, it went from what? About 90 bucks a couple months ago to 130. So it's, moving pretty fast. I like that. It's a good sign. Here's Honeywell. There's the rejection of the 200 price. No. I'm not even put this on my radar until it gets at least above the 20-day. But we are getting some value opportunities here. And look at value starting to rise again. Earnings per share also coming around. But RT, relative timing, letting me know it's a little too early to pull the trigger on this one. All right, I'm going to have to try to get through these a little bit quicker so I get to your stocks. Now here's Amphenol. That's beautiful. Still above the 20. The value too is rising like crazy. Look at that value. So I don't mind, or at least I would say I'm more comfortable getting into a stock that investors are paying a premium, an overvalued stock, as long as I see the value rising, right? Like Palantir kind of scared me because it's just been flat. I'm actually curious to see if the value's actually ticked up. Actually, it's been ticking up a little bit. But this, I get a little bit more excited about. I mean, the value is close to 50. Now we're talking, close to 90, so almost doubled. I like that. Growth rate is rising. Ooh, 27. Look at the sales growth rate, 57. I've talked about this one before. This is a good stock on your radar. Tesla broke above my resistance level here. Looks like we just found a nice little support. The bulls are trying to come in. I'm not that big of a fan of Tesla right now. Look at the value of the stock, just way overvalued. Forecasted data, everything, earnings per share, everything's on decline here. Negative. And I've said it before. Elon has waited too long, and now he's got a lot of competitors in robotics, automation, self-driving technology, Google. A lot of companies have stepped in this arena now, so they lost that early edge. We'll see what happens. And I actually did see Waymo. They're going to Europe. They're doing testing in Europe now. So now, not just in the United States, but now I have to remember it. But either it just happened or it's happening soon. But keep an eye on that. Northrop Grumman. Look at the premium. But now that picture is getting a little bit better with that value coming into play. Still a little overvalued in my opinion. Pennywise says London. Okay, so it is London. Okay, excellent. Growth rate. I can't get too excited about this. That forecasted data, not that great. I do like the forecasted EPS rising. Everything else is, Not horrible, but not outlandish. Here's GE Aerospace. Growth rate declining, sales coming in 21%. Not bad number, 1721. Steady rise in earnings other than paying a premium because we're coming around 150 on our valuation. Stocks trading double that actually, 300. Just be careful. Just be careful. Norfolk Southern is another one I have here from the earnings list. Undervalued. Look at this. Values rising, price is rising, but the value is starting to decline here. So I want to see that value start to tick back up. As far as forecasted data, it's a rail company. I don't expect, too crazy numbers here, but 15% earnings growth rate, sales growth rate, 2%, rising forecasted EPA. Nice. Waymo is not public, but the parent company is Google. So if you want exposure to them, it would be Google. Again, that's why I've liked Google, and it's been undervalued. You know what I mean? I wonder if it still is undervalued. I've been talking about Google. It's one of my Mag 7 picks this year. Look at that. Undervalued, price action rising, chasing value, values rising. I like what I see here when it comes to Google. Just hit a new high, 256. I like that. Excellent. I was getting a little nervous about that Mag 7 pick of Google, but after they got that lawsuit, the antitrust lawsuit, pretty much, as long as they pay Apple, they keep doing what they're doing. And the stock has, after that, I feel like investors were just hesitant, carry the stock higher until that was wrapped up. And it did. Michael says, I bought Google in 2001 and had to sell it in 2005 to cover some expenses. So sad. Michael, I know you feel like the guy who traded like 10,000 Bitcoins for pizza 15 years ago. Hey, I get it, but I like Google. Hey, doesn't mean you can't buy into it, Michael. I don't know what your investment strategy is, but not a bad company. IBM, it's just overvalued. I like the company, but just the valuation here and the growth rate. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Google over IBM all day. Vertiv Holdings, overvalued, but look, so ever since it broke this little descending trend line, got caught up here, it's still off to the races. If this stock does roll over, if you got some patience, maybe here around 156. I know we've been talking about this quite a bit. Growth rate earnings is falling. Sales growth, mixed bag here. Sales growth rate 35. I mean, still good numbers. I know this is a popular company amongst everybody. RT still favorable for the bulls here. I like it. Coca-Cola Company. I do like the valuation and the price. Trying to meet somewhere in the middle here. Between 60, 68 bucks. Forecasted earnings per share is rising. Sales growth rate 3. Earnings growth rate 11. Might not be bad. You can see the momentum starting to pick up right before the earnings. VRT is a Glenn top pick. Yes. I'll be honest. I'm almost positive Vertiv was given to us in the comments section. I don't know. Maybe you did find that one. I can't speak on it, but I know, at least me personally, I want to say that Vertiv first came across our radar from a comment section. But yeah, if it came from Glenn originally, hey, definitely give credit where credit is due. It was a great start. It was okay. January 1st. Gotcha. Nice. But yeah, and he had great picks. I know that's why we love Glenn. Here's Digital Reality. I'm just gonna say no. Nothing exciting there. T-Mobile, look at the valuation of T-Mobile. I know it's not, the most attractive stock out there, but I do like that valuation prospect of T-Mobile right now. It was around 270, 280. Now it's around 228. Growth rate earnings is faltering, 15.7, rising earnings. A little too early. If you're trying to bottom fish, though, you can see RT is in favor of the Bears right now. All right, what time is it? 12:38. Let me grab some more stocks for you guys. Don't put in your stocks yet. Give me one moment. Is it safe to go back to gold and silver after Friday sell-off? I'm going to tell you right now, Friday sell-off didn't even phase my opinion on gold. Did anyone think gold's going to be higher a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now? I think it will be. But valuation is dropping on T-Mobile. Let's see here. What is it? That's something good to point out. Oh, it is dropping. Yeah, so it was rising. I have to see that value start to tick up a little bit more. Maybe take out this prior swing high of value of 285. So if I can start to see value start to creep up, I can start to see price action start to creep up, that is a chart pattern that I like to see. Pennywise says, I see 5,000 gold next year. Pennywise, there's a chance gold can hit 5,000 before the end of this year. What are you talking about? I'm going to be honest with you. There's a fair chance gold. What we Google the price of gold right now. I'm just curious where it's at today. But I think there's a fair chance gold could hit 5,000 before the end of the year. Now, obviously, there's certain factors that could go into that, but interest rate cuts could be one of those factors. I was being more conservative. All right, Pennywise, I feel you on that. But, you know, we ain't got no crystal ball. But I think everyone in this room is feeling the same thing when it comes to gold, right? Don't overthink the gold. And I did have another article. I actually took it out, but it was the new, you know, everyone's talking about the old portfolio. Traditional is 20-40, 60 or 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Now they're talking about 60-20-20, where you got a 60% stocks, 20% bonds, and then the other 20% you do between gold and Bitcoin. Me personally, because I Googled the returns of bonds, the average bond over the last 10 years, according to Google, was 1.6%. That's not even outpacing inflation. You are losing money safely. And I didn't, I'm not the author behind that saying. That's actually Kathy Onan used to tell me that. If you're not outpacing inflation, you are losing money safely. So that 60% stocks, the other 40%, hey, if you want to be in bonds, that's on you. But me personally, I'm thinking a nice variety of commodities, miners, you know, rare earths, the silver, the gold, whatever you want to do, diversify it. But I like it. I like that idea. You know, I do like that idea. After seeing the results of the average bond returns over the last 10 years, bonds ain't what they used to be. No, they are not. No, they are not, right? No, they are not. And my age, you know, I don't have much experience with bonds, but that's why I Googled it. And if that is true, at 1.6% is the average over the last 10 years, that's not got my attention at all. That does not have my attention at all. So I'm going to skip that whole 20% of bonds and, you know, maybe just go in some diverse ETFs if you want to do something like that, you know, get some, you know, exposure in other places. But I definitely am of the mindset of, you know, having that, you know, exposure to minerals, critical minerals, the gold, the silver, you know, lithium, things like that. Hey, you know, have a diverse portfolio of those type of things. Don't be against Elon. Patience. I'm not betting against Elon. All I'm saying is Elon has let his competitors catch up. Because I know how a lot of people have bet on Elon and have gotten it wrong. So I'm not betting against him. I'm just saying he's had a huge advantage, but now that advantage is not so much, right? All right. I wouldn't mind taking some T-bills for income at some point, but not till retirement. That's safe. That's safe. And that because retirement, you're coming to capital preservation, right? You're not trying to grow your capital in retirement. Well, some people might need to catch up and do that, right? But once you get to retirement, it's about capital preservation, protecting that capital and creating some income streams off of that capital. Pennywise says, I'm betting against Elon. Let's not talk about Elon in the comment section. That is a slippery slope for bad topics, right? All right. So, but either way, my personal opinion, he's let his competitors catch up a little bit here. But this is what I wanted to show you. Where's my watch list? We're going to do this low price long-term calls. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Be careful shorting them. I mean, people have lost fortunes shorting them before. So I'm not going to be a shorter, but I'm not going to be a buyer either. Look at Canaan 207. I'm so mad I didn't buy that stupid thing. It's all right. It's all right. I'm going to have fun this week. Look at Navitas up 16%. This thing was like $10. It was $12 when I did the video. $6. I'm telling you. Poet. Look at this other one. Poet. That's probably going to be tonight's video. I was talking to Joey about video ideas, because we've given you some hot stocks lately. You know, Poet being one of them. Might have Data Vault. Oh, son of a gun, I missed that one. To 23% here. I've been more concerned about booking fun things in St. Thomas that I've been buying, but hopefully I put these stocks on your radar. Big Bear AI, not doing a whole lot today, but I have a feeling tonight's video is going to be some of these stocks I've done pretty well. This GPUS here, this is on my radar. Look at this, hyperscale data. Look at the name of the stock. Look at the valuation, 186. We value 70 cents. It was about 33 cents when it was on my radar. Now it's 37, so about 17 cents right now. This is another stock I have on my radar. I've said it before. If a stock's under $1, if it's under a couple dollars and it's undervalued, it has my attention. And also, look at the name of the stock. I can see Reddit having a field day with hyperscale data. I'm hoping there's short interest on it because I want Reddit to take that sucker to 20 bucks. Data Vault under $2, you said. Man, I know, Roger, I was going to buy some last week, but I ended up buying a catamaran trip from St. Thomas to St. John. So, yeah, it is what it is. But it's okay. Again, because these stocks, they're going to present opportunities in the future. If you're in them, hey, make some money, right? But look at this. This one's overvalued right now. It was valued at $1. Right now it's at 221. It's had a big move lately. I still like Data Vault AI. Because they got the Bitcoin treasury. They got a couple other big things in the work here. But a lot of these companies doing really good today. Got Kraken. Let's just do percent PRC. Let's see where the winners are at. A lot of big movers here in this list today. Navitas, Hyperscale, Data Vault, Canaan. That's going to be the top of the list here. Bottom. Ooh, look at this. Seals Corp giving up some of those gains. I saw it was up like 8% earlier. CoreWeave feeling the pressure today. This is the 2 times leverage. So CoreWeave's down about 6%. Yep, it's right above here. Trilogy Metals. Again, be careful with these rare earths. A lot of volatility with them. I saw UAMY up quite a bit earlier today, and it's been giving up that. Yeah, it was up like 20% earlier, and now it's only up 1%. Again, I don't think that pullback in rare earths is over. Things are taking a breather, and one day is not a breather necessarily. Right? That's what I'm saying. Be diversified. Be diversified. Those stocks like Data Vault and Big Bear AI don't fit so comfortably in my VV retirement portfolio. And Tabula, the fact that you are saying that is a good thing, because these are not your retirement type of stocks here. I don't see one of these that I would want in my retirement portfolio unless I'm younger. Yeah, I might have a couple rares, maybe some crypto, because I've got time to see how that plays out, right? Let's take a look here. Homepage. Everyone's saying we're still pretty in the positive here. I'm just looking. We're still pretty in the positive. All right. So these stocks, any stocks that we covered today already, please don't put them in the list. But go ahead and give me your stocks. We got about 15 minutes, so I'm going to take we got about 13 minutes. I'm about to take 15 stocks, though. Where are we at? Trend, midday market update. Boom, boom, boom. Your picks. There we go. Okay. Ollie G says TMUS is a good option stock. Ollie G, you, what was that stock you mentioned, Ollie G? I know you're, please remind me. I made a lot of money multiple times, short term, in and out. Okay. Ollie G says T-Mobile, optionable stock. I like it. All right, let's put in some of these stocks here. UI, SPHR, EBR. When are you in St. Thomas? I'm going next. Are you really, Michael? I'll be in St. Thomas this Thursday to next Tuesday afternoon. I fly out next Tuesday afternoon. We'll be on the west side of the island at Margaritaville. All right, let's see here. GGLL, DRS, NBIS. Oh, okay. I'm curious what NBIS is doing. Michael, where are you going to be at St. Thomas? Let's see here. CLF. Broadcom. Okay. We got another domestic chip powerhouse. I like it. CCCX. So I like Broadcom, but you know why I like Micron better? It's just the valuation. That's. I mean, I'm going to put Broadcom, Micron. I mean, they're definitely leaders in the semi, or I should say, the domestic semiconductor space. Let's see here. CCCX, Broadcom, CoreWeave. We didn't take a look at the chart. I'll take a look at the chart here. K-O-R-U. Okay, there we go. And see STX. And I'm going to look at Crapto. Glenn was right. What are you talking about, Crapto? PBYI. I'm going to add that one. I'm trying to think what that one is. Puma Biotech. Interesting. AU. Anglo Gold. All right. That's going to be the last one, Amir, because we got 10 minutes. Quite a few stocks here. All right. Let's see what the pain is today. The pain, CoreWeave, down with 6%. Churchill Capital Corp. Interesting. Never heard of that before. Nebius. Down about 3%, a little bit of pain here. But on the upside, look at this. Ooh, up 30%. Cleveland Cliffs, the steel company? Not surprised by that. South Korea, 3 times bull. Interesting. Kind of curious about that. Bond is also crypto. Ryan, you are right. Bonds are also crypto. Oh, man. All right. See, Anglo Gold. Actually, gold's up a little bit today. Anglo Gold's up a little bit today. Where's my best growth rate earnings here? Anglo Gold, Amtech Systems. Interesting little stock here. Axon at the top of the list. All right, let's graph them. Yeah, Ravi, the Launchpad is now available. It's not going to have all the features of VectorVest 7. It was not designed for current VectorVest subscribers. Designed for the new VectorVest, for the new people, essentially, right? So it's pretty basic in nature right now. We're going to add other features to it. I know there's videos and things of that nature if you want to learn more about it. But you are going to see the Launchpad more on this channel going forward, though. I will say that. I will when I get back from vacation. We've already talked about different strategies and stuff. What is Launchpad? Launchpad, you get, if you have already a VectorVest 7 subscriber, you get Launchpad. Essentially, it's just a web-based platform where you can get your stock analysis. You can do other things in there. It's got some cool graphing features too, Bill. We've talked about it. When we first introduced it as like a little teaser, I think it was around the Tampa event earlier this year. And then we did a longer video on it and showed some of its features at the Las Vegas 2-day investment seminar. But yeah, it's really cool. If you got access to VectorVest 7, you already have it for free. And there's really cool technical indicators and all kinds of cool graphing features in there. And you can use it anywhere. It's web-based, so you don't have to install it anywhere. All right, so as far as Anglo Gold here, look at the valuation. I still like it. The forecasted data. Everything looks really good here. As far as this position, if it drops below 69.7, probably, get a little bit more defensive on it, right? But that would be, or look for the pivot there. One of the two. Here's ASYS. Interesting little stock. Let's go back out a little bit more. This thing's been moving. Where's this line at? I'd look for level support there, maybe. Anything else? So this looks like where it tried to catch right here. Probably off this consolidation. Yep, that consolidation. So if it breaks this, I got another level support here. But that's a parabolic move. Be careful. I do like this first pivot here, but I'm already seeing an upper wick. So just be careful of that. My impression is that you cannot have VectorVest and Launchpad open simultaneously. You cannot. It's kind of like if you try to open VectorVest 7 on 2 different computers or whatever, 2 different instances. Correct. You wouldn't be able to do that. But it's just it's a different approach. And I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're a VectorVest subscriber. Please give us some feedback. But keep in mind, it's not necessarily designed for the subscribers who've been using VectorVest for 10, 20 years, right? It's kind of, we're trying to get people to understand the VectorVest 7 software and really our ideology, our indicators, just an easier way, because we understand there's a lot of information coming at you. But check it out. It's really cool because the homepage is very much simpler, but it just kind of points you in the right direction. Does a lot of the work for you. And look at that. Joey's awesome. He put the link right there. So if you got access to VectorVest 7, try it out. If you don't, check out a trial. You can always try it out that way. Because if you are, if you don't have access to VectorVest 7, if you're brand new, I'd probably start off with the MLP rather than going into VectorVest 7. And like I said, we're going to have more training videos and more exposure on YouTube for it. I can't wait for it long as it has live data. Yes, it has live data. I don't want to say things I don't know all about, but I don't know if there's end of day data. Do you know, Joey? I think it's intraday or real time. I don't know if there's end of day data.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. Joey said he doesn't think so either. So that would be the one thing. Oh man, forgot to bring up Rigetti. Wondering what's going on with that one. All right, I'll take a look at Rigetti, but we're going through these real quick. Axon, lower left, upper right. It broke my level support here. We got a sell recommendation. I'm going to be bearish on Axon. That was a strong level support here that I was hoping we'd catch, and we did not catch it. As of right now, yeah, we got a little bit of pivot here, but I'm not necessarily sold on that because we could just get rejection from the bottom end, which I feel might happen. But just be careful with Axon. You see the sell recommendation. Here's Broadcom, strong buys over the last 3 months. Go to 6 months, strong buy. Look, there's a transition from sell to hold to buy. And look at the value. See, it's overvalued, but I like value rising. But again, Micron is way undervalued, right? So I just like Micron. I'm a value junkie. Growth rate, 27% sales. And then Micron, the sales is outpacing the growth rate earnings as well. So I do like that better. I hold Broadcom for its dividend growth. Hey, there we go. But again, if you've been holding on to Broadcom forever and you're using it for dividend strategy, yeah, of course, I wouldn't want you to sell your Broadcom and just buy Micron for no reason. But still, a phenomenal stock to have on your radar. It's going to be more expensive too. It's $348. Here is UI. I've never even heard of this stock, but I'm going to tell you right now, lower left, upper right, very little, like this little cup, this little thing, probably going to come right back down because this sucker just moves straight across, straight line. This is actually really smooth stock chart. Look at that. That is really smooth. It's overvalued. Forecasted data is moving in the right way though. And RT's been above 1 for quite some time. I kind of like this. I'm not going to lie. Here's CoreWeave. Ooh, CoreWeave did not give me the enthusiasm that I would have liked to see breaking out of this channel with the retest here. You can see price action really just stagnant. Yeah, those lows are coming right in here. Be careful with CoreWeave. Be careful with that one. Long term, I'm going to be bullish. I do like their contract with Microsoft, and I do see that potential revenue going from, we're talking, hundreds of millions to now billions. So huge growth there, but again, the stock just not seeing the momentum that I would like to have seen breaking to the upside of that channel. Here's Churchill. CoreWeave insider sales. Okay. Roger says UI makes some excellent networking products for wireless. You say, I've never even heard of that company, but I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to overthink it. The stock chart was literally almost a straight line, lower left, upper right. That is like Dr. Dolito to the T, right? Lower left, upper right. So I do like just that, prospect alone with that position, right? But here's CCX, Churchill Capital Group. The value's climbing. This is a brand new company here. Just be careful with it. I'm not going to give too much opinions. I don't know much about it, but as long as that RT stays above 1, I'm going to be more optimistic. I can already tell you I like the direction value's moving. The other 3 here, not so much. Not doing a whole lot. DRS, Leonardo, not good. Because here's I've been looking at this one. We broke below it. Last time we were under this, I saw some pressure here. Yeah, be careful with this one. Be careful with that one. I like that. I'm going to tell you right now, I like it. Forecasted data is not bad either. Value's rising. Undervalued. And it's only 544. It's going in my list. Anybody know if this is optional? PBYI. Is this optional? I'm going to do a little research on what the company does. But just looking at the VectorVest 7 software, Doesn't look necessarily bad. I see a little bit of a turnaround story. Growth rate and earnings starting to tick back up. Sales growth rate negative to positive. Not bad. Not bad at all. Oh man, any. I like any. I like any so much. It was undervalued. Oh, 70 cents. That's already in my list. I don't know why it's in this one. I like it. Google bull double. Yeah, you know how I feel about Google. Why not double leverage it? Why not? Still any? Still in any? No, I never bought it, Alex. I've been watching those stocks, but literally instead of buying stocks, I've just been saving up to go have fun down in the Caribbean for a week. Which I probably could have gambled in the market and probably used that money. Alex says, I am nice. Be careful. I don't know why you didn't, probably would have, is it optional? Probably would have taken a call somewhere in here, especially if you're going to be a long-term holder, or at least for the next 30 days. I still like it. But yeah, anytime the stock gets undervalued, it's going to be more attractive to me. But yeah, Google double bulled. Love it. Love it. Why not make it easier? And Roger, what you want for your stock today, bud? What you want for that? I got you. But Google, why not double leverage? It's already one of my favorite Mag 7 stocks. So yeah, I like it. Korea, I like this. Remember at the beginning of the year, we were talking about getting exposure to outside U.S. entities. That was the trade, right? That's what was hot. We're seeing all those foreign ETFs and foreign banks going crazy. I like this Korean trade here. And they're an ally, right? And look at it. The gap. Yeah, it's going to be gappy. It's overseas, but I like Korea. I like this ETF here. If you want some exposure overseas entities, put this on your radar. It's triple leverage, so obviously you can just swing trade it if you don't care about that. Getting to that kind of exposure. The far right edge is covered by your upper. Oh, yeah, I gotta move me. Oh, not that. Oh, video capture. Duh. I'll get near. Look, I'm floating. All right, there we go. Joey's probably having a heart attack. He's like, "What are you doing, Ryan?" Stop messing it up. But yes, we looked at UAMY today, but I'm still gonna be bearish on it. I jumped up 20%. I wasn't falling for it. Now it's only 1% up. I'm not falling for that. Still needs a breather, in my opinion. But I like this Korean move. Robert said just got into Karu today. Nice. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but I like it. Triple leverage. And let's look at the overall equity. Last 6 months. Let's go to a year here. Yeah, since May, this thing has been on a tear. Went from $40 to about 148. Big move. Small cap bull. Again, look at the small caps. Lower left, upper right. What are we talking about right now? We're talking about interest rate cuts. As long as we're talking about interest rate cuts and not interest rate hikes, I like small caps. Interesting here. I don't like value declining. Growth rates rolling over. We actually went negative. This stock's a little bit everywhere. It's a utility company. I've noticed that, and I've said it the last 2 weeks. Utility companies are picking up a lot of momentum to the upside. Think about it. I ain't never seen gold move this much when we were not in some kind of recession or economic calamity, right? I think people are gearing up for one. You see utilities gearing up too. I think the whole market's moving. The defense, not defense sector, but defense type of positions and offense type of positions, right? So everything's getting, a lot of things are getting pushed to the upside. Just be careful with this one. A lot of momentum there. Here's a New Era Energy and Digital Ink Petroleum Company. Went from $1 to $5.82. Forecasted data. Look at sales growth rate, 926. Here's a small dollar stock. There's a lot of momentum right now. Maybe be careful on it. What are the stocks you'll be looking at if the Fed cuts rates? Smaller caps, high growth rates, those type of stocks. Probably a lot of tech, a lot of quantum be hot, the AI will be hot, things of that nature. Balancing that with some other big cap names, probably some rare earths, some gold, some minerals. Probably just a good way to keep your portfolio on the right track. Here's NBIS. Look at this little line. Knew it was going to come down. Come on, little guy. You got a little bit more to go. Have the patience. What does Glenn tell you? Let the trade come to you. If you go chase this trade, I can tell you right now, you're going to start out negative 10%. I don't have a crystal ball, but there's a good chance you're going to start out in the negatives. The only thing that might be catching this, which seems a little high, yeah, or seems a little low, I meant to say. I still think it's going to go down about 9% from 110 to about $100 here. I think it's going to test. See what it does here, because that's going to be the next big swing move, whether it's a break or a pivot off of it. What are the stocks? I'm up 70% on GLDM. Nice. Reach should also be taking off. Yes. You ignored TJX. No, I didn't want to ignore it. I'm coming back. I don't know if you typed it in, though. Sphere. Hold on, I'll get to it. And Roger, what stock did you want? For that super chat. I don't think you ever gave me one, did you? Roger. Oh, I see. I got it here. Never mind. I got you. Givo. All right. You know I'm going to say, look at that value rising, price rising. I like it. Ooh. Growth rate, earnings, turnaround story, sales growth rate, turnaround story, negative, positive, and both. Earnings per share is negative. I see just a turnaround story in this. As long as value's right, well, value's flat now. You definitely had better buying opportunities, closer to $2. I don't really see any concerns. We still got a strong buy rating on it. Looks like a good stock. I'm actually impressed. We've talked about this one before. I'm going to write this one down too, because this is a low price one. I'll have to see if it's optionable. But I do like this. RT's climbing right back too. That's a good turnaround candidate. I like that. And AXT, overvalued, but this is a turnaround in the wrong direction, bud. You got growth rate going negative, sales growth rate going negative, earnings per share going negative, everything's going negative. I don't know what this company does. You probably Googled it since you own it. You better make sure that story adds up, because the forecasted data that we get right from NASDAQ is telling us a not so good picture right now. Everything's trending lower. So until these numbers start to turn back around and go to the upside, I'm going to think more of a swing term, protect your profits kind of trade rather than a long-term position. You know, because if you got in here undervalued, again, it was $1, now you got $5, you're up a bunch of money, right? So I don't know where you bought it at. But I would be more inclined on the protecting profit side. Not saying right now, so we still got a strong buy rating, but going forward, rather than, see what this value does. But that forecasted data does not got me excited. Sales growth rate negative 36, growth rate earnings negative 7. Now, if there's they're a domestic semiconductor manufacturer and they got some story behind them, yeah, the sky's the limit. We've already seen a lot of these semis move. Like Wolf out of North Carolina, right? They that restructured in Delaware. All right, here's Sphere. Value rising, price rising. I like it. I mean, growth rate moving in the right direction. That's negative though. Oof. I like it for the medium term. Maybe not so much the long term. As long as that RT stays above 1, hey, I'm here for it. And as far as a support level here, you got 2 touches right here. So clearly if we break this, be careful. If it breaks, gets much less than 56. Cleveland Cliffs, look at that big gap up today. Wick in either direction, so some indecision. I'm not going to jump in that one right now. The value finally starting to come back. Look at the value declining, price declining, forecasted data all over the place. Earnings per share starting to make a comeback here. I'm not liking it. You have to see what the news story was. It earnings today? Yeah, it was earnings. Look at the earnings report. But you can see it's kind of mixed bag there when it comes to the market's reaction. All right, let's take a look at TJ Maxx. I forgot to put in your stock, Ali G. I still like it. I mean, again, it's not going to be the best money maker in the world, but as far as a good, just defensive, logical consumer play, I mean, from what 100 and what's the low here over last year, 111 to 143. So yeah, you're not getting astronomical returns, but you're getting good returns. And then pretty steady, lower left, upper right, strong buy rating in place. I like this. Value's rising. It's overvalued. And no, I don't want to necessarily overpay for a retail company. I'm going to be honest with that. Growth rate's falling. Sales growth rate, 7. Earnings per share is rising. I say the best thing this company's got for is a tough consumer right now trying to save money with tight economic conditions. But if we look at the long term of this one, and that is a good long-term steady Eddy stock. Lower left, upper right, and look at the earnings per share. Not really faltering the entire journey over the last almost 3 years. It's a beautiful stock. I like it. I'm not gonna lie, Ollie G. It's not gonna be a quantum stock. You're probably not gonna make 50% in a week potentially. But that nice steady equity curve, lower left to upper right, there's nothing wrong with holding those type of stocks in your portfolio, to be honest. All right, Ryan's eating into Joey's overtime tabula. You know what that means? Joey said, get up out of here, Ryan. Take your butt to St. Thomas. I got stuff to do. All right, everybody. I'm going to have a good video for you tonight. We're going to put some good stocks together. Me and Joey are about to do that now. Tomorrow, no live stream. Wednesday, I will try to get you an update and see who is exactly doing what when it comes to the coverage of the live streams. But as far as I know, we can expect some heavy hitters coming in, like Jared D'Ambrosio, Steve Chappell. So make sure you check out these live streams because normally their insights are really only ever really given when it comes to the coaching rooms. So if you want some exposure to our coaching rooms, if you've heard about them, but you haven't really had the exposure with some of the coaches, maybe check out some of these live streams while I'm gone, and that'll help you out. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Good luck. Best of luck trading to you. Bye.